Good evening, guten Abend, bonsoir, buenas noches to investors in North and South America. 我有个建议是，안녕하세요各位早晨 Good morning to investors in Asia. Buenas noches, good night to investors in Europe and Africa. I'm Daniel speaking from Hong Kong. It's 27th March here and 26th in Wall Street. This time, I have four main points to talk about. Number one, Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell. Number two, from bear market to bull market. Number three, Russian-China summit. Number four, dot plot chart. Subscribe, like and share. Remember to click the bell please. Watch our playlist again so as to grasp the continuous trend of the market and refresh your mind. Janet Yellen, the Chancellor, and Jerome Powell, the Fed Chair, together made the market of the past week like a roller coaster. Among the banking crisis, these two officials stood up as what Charles Dickens said in the opening verse of A Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. Since the financial tsunami of 2008, the supervision of the banking system really had improved a lot, but still there's a leakage that led to the recent banking crisis. Facing the crisis of Silvergate Bank, Silicon Bank, Signature Bank, and First Republic Bank, there are 5 more banks in blacklist and 20 banks in grey list. On Tuesday, Janet Yellen stood up to say if there are some more small banks in problem, she will regulate them. However, on the Congress hearing of the following day, she said she had not considered a comprehensive guarantee or insurance, which implied that large clients or institutional depositors would let them face the loss on their own. This would only generate another crisis of withdrawal. So on the other day, she had to give a total guarantee to all depositors to calm down the scene. However, Powell disclosed on the stage when after a rate hike of 25 basis points that its concentration is still on inflation and seldom mentioned the banking crisis so as to show the impact was not so serious. But in the press conference after that, he took out a large number of figures so as to say inflation is not yet under control, and people thought that the rate cut was not likely to come out within this year. But at last, the Chicago rate future showed that there's a chance to have rate cuts in this year. In the purchase of Credit Suisse, the 81 bonds fell greatly and made investors also lost confidence in the 81 of Deutsche Bank. But several heavyweight personalities stood up to endorse for it, including Joseph Nagel, President of Deutsche Bank, Christine Lagarde, President of EU Commission, and Olaf Scholz, Chancellor of Germany. What they meant is that Deutsche Bank is a healthy and profitable bank. Fear not, here am I. Thus, 3 major indices went up in the last smart hour of trading on Friday. For item number 2, in the last video, I had already pointed out the 2008 financial tsunami was caused by Apollo Minor asteroid attacking the Earth, but now Jupiter and Venus are protecting the Earth from outer and inner orbit with the Moon as the final fortress. And the year of Rabbit is a year that will finally bring peace on Earth after turmoil. A lot of people pointed out that the bear market is going to end soon, but I already disclosed in the US Stock Express of June 17, 2022 that Nasdaq is going to form an Ursa Minor pattern and then develop into Ursa Major pattern. Anyway, it takes about 1 year's time for transition of bear market stage 3 to bull market stage 1. Nasdaq is having an upgrade above 5 major average lines of 10, 20, 50, 100, and 200 SMA. Last week, all major IT stocks rocketed up. AAPL rocked the inverted head and shoulders. NVDA continued its nice rising trend. MSFD had another breakthrough. Google is going to have a break of upward soon. Meta is in a very nice uptrend. These stocks have been recommended several times. However, conservative investors can try IBM, which is the star of tomorrow. Amazon can buy before its rise. TSM is nice to buy among their development. ASML also can buy before the rise. S&P already said the head and shoulders is not standard enough and now prove it is a trap that after breaking the neckline it at once turned up. Very simple. A trend of falling means it's a genuine pattern of rise. For Dow Jones, it's still the weakest. After dropping off the rectangular shape, still struggling upward to go back to normal. For item number 3, Presidency of China went to Moscow and had a summit with Putin. China got abundant and fruitful results in cooperation with Russia and supporting Russia economically in buying their energy products. Attitude of both leaders show that their position has changed. Once Soviet Union was the big brother and now China is the big brother and Russia is in secondary position. As for peace talk that the world focus on, it is only a minor part of the visit. At least Turkey has arranged peace talks between diplomats of Russia and Ukraine in March in Belgium and April in Turkey last year. This time, no news of peace talk, and even one said Xi would have a video conference with Zelensky but had not come true. China had not asked Russia to withdraw troops according to the resolution of United Nations. In the joint declaration, peace talk only occupied a small part. Why? In the over-year forecast of the US Stock Express, I had already said there's a chance of peace talk in March, but it will be unsuccessful. It had been noticed several times. The year of rabbit also has a month of rabbit, which is roughly in March. Just a chance of peace but will fail. It's only fruitful for China to reorganize their position in front of Russia. China does not want Russia to be defeated or else China will be isolated. And China is the only country that can help Russia, or else they have to depend on North Korea and Iran. But if China supplies detrimental weapons to Russia, they will be sanctioned, including Hong Kong. The West is gathering a lot of evidence since March the 6th, the awakening of hibernation. They discover a lot of unusual things. So there will be a fierce fighting from June 21st, the summer solstice, to cold deals of October the 8th. After that, who is on the winning side and who is on the defeating side will be quite clear. For item number 4, on request of the audience, I have to give a full explanation of the dot plot chart. Why is it so important to investors? It is a forecast of the members of the FOMC on future interest rates. First of all, we have to know what is meant by FOMC. It's the Federal Open Market Committee for Rate Decision. It only has 12 members, but the dot plot chart is made by 18 members. So where do the rest come from? It is released 4 times a year in March, June, September, and December. The FOMC member is made up of 12 people which are in even numbers, so when the voting comes to a deadlock, the chairman has the right to cast an extra last vote for decision making, even if the chance is not so often, but had already occurred every now and then. So let's see the components of the 12 members. The chair and vice chair occupy 2 votes, and then 6 board members come to a total of 8, and the rest 4 members are in rotation of 12 Fed districts. So in the news, you can always hear that one of those members currently has a vote and that doesn't have a vote this year. But no matter whether they have a vote or not, they are all entitled to make their personal forecast on the dot plot chart for the next few years. So each member can have a forecast of the midpoint of interest rate of the next future years. Using x-axis, that is the horizontal axis as time, and y-axis, that's the vertical axis as the interest rate. So what we can see is that in the first column, at the interest rate of 4.75%, that is only 1 dot, which means only 1 member forecast this. But for 5.0%, there are 10 dots, which means 10 members are in favor of it. For 5.25% and 5.50%, there are 3 members each. and the highest one only has one member, which is 5.75%. So for 2004, there are 5 members forecasting the rate will drop to 4.0%, and 2025, there are 4 members forecasting at 2.75% and 3.0%. And for the longer term, 8 people made their forecast at 2.5%. However, they are not fixed, and in the next chart of June, there may be a lot of changes. So please keep all this data. Very often, there are investors asking me how to make accurate forecasts. If you have abundant data, then your forecast will be more comprehensive than others. If you only have fragments of data, your forecast will be like blind man touching an elephant. So data collection and organizing is the first step of forecasting. And when you go to the office of a successful analyst, you can see different data are piling up as that in a library. So again, subscribe, share, and like. Sayonara, auf Wiedersehen, ado, bye-bye. See you next week.